And welcome back, YouTube, to another episode of Life in Prison. My name's Zach, and what I'm gonna need you to do first, before we even go ahead and keep going, what I'm gonna need you to do is hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notifications button, so that you're first informed when I upload. So, I've had a couple people ask me, why did you go to prison? Well, what happened was, I had an acquaintance who owed me some money. And after I found out the real reason why he couldn't pay me back this money, I took it in my own hands, and unfortunately, I ended up robbing him. So that's how I ended up getting grand larceny. Come to find out, because he kept bragging about it over and over and over again. Come to find out, it really wasn't his. Didn't have to break in. I got in there without breaking. So as I'm sitting at the police station, handcuffed to the bench, I'm handcuffed to the bench at the sheriff's department up in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Within that period of time, I ended up slipping out my cuff and sat there for a couple seconds and debated whether I should run or if I should stay. So I bolted, ran out the door. They ended up trying to chase me, ran through the trees. They couldn't catch me, yada yada. And I ended up getting away for about 2.5 weeks. So that's where the escape charge comes from. That's one of the other reasons why I was classified as a 5 the whole time, because I had this escape and they didn't want me to go to a lower classification prison because of, the risk that they're taking. So when I first get sentenced, they hit me with the 5 classification. So the first place they ended up sending me to was the Anthony Center. Well, if anybody knows what that is, or if you don't know what it is, it's like Kitty Cupcake camp for prisons, more or less. So it's like a beginner prison. If you're younger, it's ages 18 through 22, I do believe. It's male and female, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. Greenbrier County, West Virginia, like wrong turn area. It's really out there. Set up, and in the center it's a hexadeck. So since I couldn't go outside, I was always stuck on the hexadeck. So me being who I am, I like to do my own time and I like goofing off. That's why I didn't end up completing the whole program. 3 months. I lasted 3 months and they ended up kicking me out just because, I cured a lot of stupid write-ups. Not standing in line, not being quiet, contraband, stupid stuff. I didn't get any trouble, any serious trouble while I was there. After I got kicked out of the Anthony Center, they took me back to the regional, sat there for a couple months. Then they sent me to MCC, which is Martinsburg Transfer Station. You go there, get classified, and they ship you off to whatever prison you're going to. You're still going to be a 5, so they ship me straight up to Huttonsville. When I got to Huttonsville, I was on dorm 5 for about 3.5 months. Then they kind of figured out what was going on. That's when they shipped me up to B2. If you're classified as gang or behavior, they're gonna keep you segregated away from everybody else, and it kind of makes sense, just because if you're an issue starter, they don't want you to be with the rest of the prison starting stuff. So they put you off on this other pod away from everybody, so when you do get in trouble, you go to the hole, and then when you get out the hole, you go straight back there. You're not gonna prosper. I cured a lot of write-ups. So as I said before, it's, when I first went to prison, my expectations were, gotta get tatted up and try to get big. There's literally nothing else to do in prison. Read a lot of books. It's a violent atmosphere, which it kind of is, but if you don't put yourself in those situations, then, you don't really gotta be around them. But then sometimes there's things that are out of your hands, and the situations end up falling right into your lap. So that's when you get the write-up start fighting. You can get stabbings. You can get, write-ups. There's racked up with the right situation. I'm gonna break it down for you really fast. Power ended up going out in the pod. People end up tripping out, breaking out all the cameras, smashing the security bubble window, end up smashing TVs. Dude named Slim ended up getting stabbed with a pencil. Don't know who did that. It was like people tried to take over the pod, but it really didn't work. So the outcome was 36 of us just going to the hole for about a year. Possession of weapons was, it was up. You gotta realize that even if you may not be about that life, you gotta realize if you're on a more or less violent dorm, even if you don't believe in using knives or weapons, whatever it may be, if you were to get into an altercation with another individual, that other individual is most definitely going to have a weapon. So you kind of want to keep the playing field even first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and then after that I kind of knew it was over, that I was going to end up having to do all 5 years, just because it's like once you start catching write-ups, now they know who you are, and if you're flagged, then honestly there's some COs in there that will do anything in their power just to try to keep you in the hole, because it saves them time, effort, and a bunch of stress. Blanket anything, and I mean anything. If you have 2 pens in your pocket, they can write you up for contraband. Now you can go to the hole for 30 days. It's crazy, but that's at the end of the day, that's the life you chose, though, because if you didn't really want all these rules and regulations on your back, then at the end of the day, maybe you shouldn't have committed the crimes that you did to get put in those situations in the first place. Stabbings here and there, but killings, it wasn't really known for that. There was only one. This dude ended up his last name was Click, ended up stabbing this dude a few times. He was serving a life sentence anyways from a murder back in 2012 that he had committed on the streets. But he ended up stabbing this dude, chest, face, legs, body a few times. He ended up dying, but it's politics. And I do want to say that was on the B1, which is a child molester's dorm. Now, Mount Olive, though, when I ended up getting shipped up there, first person I came across was Slim, Christopher Cox. That's his legal name. He was an actual skinhead. He was very much deep into it and had already had 3 murders, 1 on the street, then 2 while he was actually incarcerated. Now I met him back in the hole. He was already back there for the past 8 years, in the Q's program for smashing this dude's face in with his shoes. But up there, it's Mount Olive's for the people state-wise in West Virginia. It's the most maximum security state penitentiary in West Virginia. So Mount Olive is literally on top of a mountain. And every pod is situated away from each other. So to do anything, you have to leave out your pod. Unlike other prisons where you're always inside and movement's controlled, Mount Olive is not like that. But then you also got to realize that you got dudes up there that have 1,000-year sentences or multiple life sentences. These are people that are never going home. This is big boy time. 3 days after I hit the yard, there was a child molester that ended up getting killed, and by a dude named Trooper, and that was crazy. I do believe there's some news clippings on it. I'll go ahead and throw them up. But he ended up saying the wrong thing to the wrong person, And that's all it really takes. As I said before, it's in prison, you don't say certain things unless you're prepared for the consequences. There was an inmate who actually assaulted a counselor, unfortunately, in the middle of the whole facility itself, on a walkway. Assaulted a counselor, and the COs ended up actually killing him. You know, they beat him to death. He ended up dying later, but that was another one. Then there was this dude not on my pod. I was up on Stewart. It's the pods are named after like trees and like oaks and stuff like that. It's real weird. We called him Dr. Bob because he had a doctorate degree. I just don't remember what it was for, but I'm calling him Dr. Bob. He looked like the alien Paul. He's kind of funny looking anyways. So he was already serving, a very, very long time because he also was a child molester. So he was paying, some of these Aryan dudes for more or less protection. Okay, you serving a very, 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 very long time, and you have money. So yeah, people are going to take opportunity of that, and that's exactly what they were doing. These skinheads were playing game on Dr. Bob. Well, I guess Dr. Bob had got a new lover, and he didn't want to keep paying these dudes, so he told them, I'm not paying you anymore. A dude named Parsons ended up killing Dr. Bob over a Bible verse dispute. Dude ended up getting killed, yes. He ended up getting killed over an argument over Bible verses. That's how serious things can get. It's, even though things might be small, like I've seen people get their face smashed in just because they didn't have a stamp. If you tell somebody, you're going to give them something, or if you put your word on it, make sure that you follow through with what you're saying. Because people are going to hold you fully accountable for what's coming out of your mouth. So if you tell somebody, you put your word on it that, hey, I'm going to have this stamp even though it's worth 45 cents. If you're going to have this stamp on Tuesday, then by Tuesday you better have that stamp. I urge everybody, if at the end of the day you're going to do what you're going to do. If you're going to sell drugs, if you're going to bang guns, if you're going to, steal cars, whatever it may be, if you're going to do it, just don't be someone else whenever you get caught going in. If you're a crackhead, be a crackhead. If you're a dopehead, be a dopehead. Just be yourself. Don't be the next guy, because it's not going to get you far at all, I promise you. I keep saying how much fun I had, and I mean this because I feel like life is too short. There's times to be serious, and there's times to just, don't obviously just take things too seriously. So if you're in an environment where you're stuck, you can't leave, you're angry at yourself because of obviously what you have done to put yourself in that situation, don't make your time harder at all. Because now you're going to be stressing out about a bunch of other things, especially if you want to join some organization or some gang, whatever it may be, that you feel like you have to just to survive. Trust me, you don't have to do any of that stuff to survive. The only thing you have to do is keep your word as a man, don't steal, don't lie, and be careful who you hang out with. Because if you're sitting with me at the chow hall and the COs run down, then now you're getting ran down to just because of who you're hanging out with. I don't regret doing what I did. Yes, I do miss the time that I didn't have with my, family and loved ones, but I feel that everything that I had put myself through in prison has made me really kind of more grateful, because you're stripped of everything, absolutely everything. You go in with absolutely nothing, and you come out with absolutely nothing except for yourself. I was adopted when I was 3, and no matter what I ever did, my parents and family always stuck around, which I'm very grateful for, because there's a lot of people that the first time going in or whatever, even if they don't even get locked up, their family cuts them off. But I was fortunate enough to have loved ones that always stuck by my side. I wanted to try to prove to my parents that, I may have messed up, but I have the capability of showing you that I can do it. I can be successful. I can do this. I can do that. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, it's hard. It is really, really hard. Life's full of ups and downs, and not everyone's perfect, but if you try, at least you can say you did try. The people that come into the facility that I work at, they're hurting, they're in pain, they're sad. What I like to try to do is they at least get a smile on their face before they leave. Because having the opportunity from going from prison into patient care and helping those that, need help. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got ones that come in for something not serious and then they lay their whole life out there on the line just because, sometimes people don't have anybody to talk to, I like being able to sit there and just listen to them because I know it's something that they have to get off their chest, and I'm the one to listen. Sometimes it can be very, very stressful because you'll have the patients that come in. For one, they'll come in not wearing their mask. I understand that everyone's got different views on COVID. It's real, it's not real. Regardless, we are a privately owned medical facility, and the only thing we're trying to do is to protect the health of others. So when you got the ones that come in getting mad because you're asking them to wear a mask to help protect others, and they get mad at you because you trying to help others, you can come in, you can cuss me all you want. I'm not going to say or do anything for you to get me fired, because my name's not about to go up on that Google post. I can tell you that much. Now that you guys know what I did to go to prison, once again, I'm going to need you to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notifications button so you're first informed when I upload videos, and there's many, many, many more videos to come. This was just a little glimpse into what I did, because there was a few people that asked, well, what did you do to go to prison? Well, here you go. So, as always, I send you my utmost love, loyalty, and respect. Keep your heads up and have a good day.